What's up, guys? It's Toad back with you for Wednesday, April 30th, as we close the month of April. It's been a pretty good April for me after a horrific March. We needed a good month, and this month has been good. I mean, like I said, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs tend to be pretty good for me, so all of that has gone well. Last night did not go as well, mostly because of baseball. 0-4, I mean, that is not what you want. After I won 10 of the previous 11 days, and the one losing day was a 4-4 day that was almost a break even. So the hot streak is over. This better not be a slump starting. But I am going all baseball today, as we do have a couple of NBA playoff games, some NHL playoffs, but I don't love the games that are on tap there. So all baseball, and it's going to be the most boring day because it's all unders that I have today as well. So, because that worked out so well last night, which last night was extremely frustrating, as we had nothing was more frustrating than the under in the Cubs game, where that game, both baseball unders that I had yesterday, the Cubs game and the, what was the other game? I don't even remember what the other game was. I have it up here, actually. Let me see. It was the Cubs and the Detroit-Houston, both of those unders, both unders would have hit if I played the first 5 innings. Both first 5 innings hit, so I handicapped the starting pitching matchups okay in those games. And then it came down to, in Detroit-Houston, the starters kind of started giving up a little bit more, and then it gave way to the bullpens. But that wound up not even being close, but it was under in the first 5 innings, so insanely frustrating. Cubs game was even more frustrating because that game was under first 4 innings, or first 5 innings, excuse me, and then should have gone under the full game. If you had told me that one team would score 0 runs in the game, yeah, I'm going under in that game. Pittsburgh got shut out, and the under still didn't happen, as the Cubs were up 4-0, I think, into the 7th inning. So it's like, okay, this is going to be fine. But no, the Cubs score 5 additional runs. They scored in the top of the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and the 9th was literally the run that put it over. Going into the 9th, it was still at 8. I had under 8.5, so if they just pack it in and just don't care, don't score, you're up 8-0 at that point, we're going to cash that under. And no, they score another run in the top of the 9th. Totally unnecessary run. I am extremely frustrated by all of that. I mean, Imanaga, he's a guy that makes sense to go under with, so that all sucked. The Knicks lost, which was very frustrating to me as well, because I was 10-0 in NBA sides in the playoffs. My only loss was a total way back in game 2 of that Denver game, Denver series. Denver Clippers. The Knicks, what can you do, man? They lose the game outright, but it was almost like there's a really fine line between losing the game outright and actually winning and covering, because if they had actually just been ahead by a couple of points near the end, it could go to fouls and they could wind up winning and covering that game, and instead they lose the game outright. Very frustrating. I had that game wrong. I thought the handicap was right on that one. It was not really, but the Knicks definitely had chances to do it, as they did have a lead multiple times late in the game, and it could have happened. And then the Arizona Diamondbacks, that was just a bad one. I thought it was a good spot to play them, and David Peterson pitched better than I thought. E-Rod is not the E-Rod of a few years ago, and he did not do well either. Let's move on to today, man. Talk about these games. Like I said, I do have 3 plays, but they're all unders. We will talk about the 2 NBA games, as the Heat-Cavs series is over. Congratulations to the Cavs. Not that I want to congratulate them, but they have won that series in advance. They won the night before last, I think. Congratulations to my Boston Celtics as well, as they won their series, so they also will advance. And I think those are the only series that are actually over so far, right? Besides the Thunder. I think I congratulated them way back. They won their series really early on as well. We have Warriors-Rockets, as this series is now 3-1 Golden State and moves back to Houston. So obviously you're going to see the books have to adjust a little bit and make Houston a pretty decent-sized favorite here. That's what's going on in both these games. Both these games are actually a very similar handicap. Houston up from 3-4, 58% of tickets, 83% of the cash. So a large cash disparity coming in on the Rockets. Of course, what the public has seen recently is they've seen the Warriors take control of this series, and the Warriors were the public team coming into this series anyway. So the public is really not going to want to jump in and lay points with the Rockets like this. Although I think if you're going to play this game, which I don't really want to, but I think if you're going to do it, laying the points with the Rockets would be the only way to look, because you got a team facing elimination, yet they're a favorite at home, and that is the case with both the Rockets and Lakers. I would look towards both of those sides in these games. This Warriors-Rockets total is way down as well, down to 203.5. The previous game finally went over because the books, all they've done in the series is adjust. The total like way down as these games have been very defensive with two pretty good defensive teams. Now, my hesitation with the Rockets is that if you dive into the box score of the previous game, Golden State actually didn't even play that well. The game was close. So if we were looking at a game where Golden State blew out the Rockets, I would be on the Rockets here because they would have all the adjustments to make. But in a game like this that was so close for the whole thing, the Rockets, I don't know what their mindset is going to be here, even though, yeah, it is a must-win, but you're laying a price for it, a little bit of an extra price. Not too much, though, because in Game 2, they were like a 3-point favorite, and I did lay the price in that game and got that one right. Whatever game this is, 5 here, they are laying a little bit more of a price, though. But Houston, they actually did shoot well. They actually outshot Golden State in that game, and they covered and did not win the game. So that is what gives me a little bit of hesitation, is that Golden State shot actually pretty poorly in this game. And I think Curry didn't really have a particularly great game. And they won anyway. So that's kind of my hesitation there, is that, like, how many adjustments really are there to make here? Like, this, you could argue this is kind of a misleading final here, but it's kind of misleading because the Warriors actually didn't have a great game, whereas Houston shot 47.8 from the 3-point range, which that number is probably going to regress here. They're more of an inside team. They don't shoot threes that well typically. And then Golden State 37%, which is about normal, but 41.9% from the field, quite low. So debatably Golden State might actually be the team that has some improvement to make, whereas the Rockets might have some 3-point regression. Rockets, of course, they do pretty much own the rebound battle here, as they are the better inside team. They are the better rebounding team. The other hesitation that I do have with playing the Rockets here is that Golden State, they were in a reverse injured player spot in the previous game because Jimmy Butler did come back. That's something I talked about on the show, where if he was coming back, the line was going to increase on Golden State a little bit in that game and maybe over adjust a little bit. So I kind of liked Houston getting the points in that game for that reason as well, because Butler kind of has to work his way back in. It's kind of a chemistry issue, but now this is going to be his second game back. I think Golden State might have a little bit more chemistry, so I don't really want to fade them here. And then Minnesota, LA's a similar handicap, like I said, with LA a little bit more of a favorite, up from 5 to 6. 68% of tickets, 72% of the cash. Of course, the Warriors were the favorite in their series to win on the series price before the series started. Lakers were, of course, the favorite in this series. But the Lakers are way more public than the Rockets are, of course. So the Warriors are actually a public kind of underdog-ish in this series, kind of a public 7 seed here, whereas the Lakers have been the public team in this 3 versus 6 matchup here. So as far as the public sentiment is concerned, the public sentiment is going to be more on the Lakers than it is on the Rockets, of course. Even though both teams are down 3-1, the public is so strongly on the Lakers just in general that they're going to expect the Lakers to bounce back and win this game. And I don't really disagree. I mean, again, you're getting a home favorite. T-Wolves having to travel to the Pacific Coast to play a late-night game. Not really the greatest spot for them. Lakers up from 5 to 6, 68% of tickets, 72% of the cash coming in on them. But then again, I believe that that Minnesota actually didn't have a great shooting performance in their game either against the Lakers, and they still won. So there is some progression that might be made. Minnesota actually shot pretty poorly, 42.2% from the field. So I don't know if maybe you're going to see some room for improvement there from Minnesota as well. So very similar to that Golden State handicap there. Not something I really want to lay the points here, but that is the way that I would lean. Let's go over to NHL, as we got 3 games tonight, I believe, and I will congratulate the Carolina Hurricanes as they won their series. I don't know if have any of the other teams advanced yet. I don't even know it, and it took them double overtime to actually do it last night. I don't know that any of the other teams have actually won their series yet in hockey. So we got Montreal and Washington is the first game up here, and this is a series where Montreal's played Washington pretty competitively. I did say that I thought Washington was a little bit overrated, even though they had the best record in the Eastern Conference. I don't think they're actually the best team in the Eastern Conference. I did expect them to get by Montreal, though, and they are up 3-1, and they could put this thing away at home here. I kind of expect them to do that, although they are coming off a pretty easy looking 5-2 win in their last game, and things got kind of dicey in the games up in Montreal there. Montreal's fan base being crazy, some fights going on. This game was actually a lot closer than it looked, as 2 empty net goals were scored by the Caps there, and the Caps are actually losing 2-1 going into the third period, and then they tied it, took the lead pretty late in the game, and then scored 2 empty net goals. So a little bit of a misleading final there to some extent, where Washington did still outshoot Montreal, though. Washington was the better, possession team in the game, even though Montreal's kind of the more physical team. I do expect Washington should get it done here, but I don't want to lay a price like this, and they are public, and they're down from -190 to -185, 81% of tickets, 82% of the cash, so very public. So looking like maybe it is a spot where maybe the line's a little bit inflated there, although I think they should get it done. But again, I'm a little bit worried about that because that last result was a little bit misleading. Montreal's a big underdog on the verge of elimination here, so I don't know that I would really want to fade them. Florida, Tampa Bay, also an elimination game with Florida up 3-1 in what I expected to be a pretty competitive series, but Florida took both games at Tampa to open the series, and then they split 1-1 in Florida. I mean, obviously, it's not a huge venue change to go to Tampa, so not really a huge amount of home ice here. Tampa's a little bit less of a favorite, I think, than they were in the first couple of games, or maybe it's about pretty close, actually. Florida being lined as like the slightly better team, and the money is coming in on Florida, man. Tampa's down from -120 to -112. 73% of tickets on them, 70% of the cash coming in on Florida. I don't disagree with it, but Tampa's at home and on the verge of elimination, man. So they're a desperate team, and in like a pick-em price range like this, they're not really a team that I want to fade. Even though I did pick Florida to win the whole thing in my bracket, I obviously picked them to win this series. I think they still will do that. Of course, they're up 3-1. But this game at Tampa, probably going to be an all-out effort from Tampa, and Florida got the job done in Tampa. But that game, you could see that as a bit of a heartbreaker for Tampa, though, because Tampa had the lead 2-1 with only a few minutes left in the game, and I was on Florida that game, and then Florida repaid the favor after Tampa had scored 2 goals in 11 seconds earlier in the game. Florida did the same thing in the third period, took the lead, got the win, and put an empty netter in as well. So it looked like Tampa was on the verge of winning that game, so you could see Tampa maybe a little bit heartbroken off of that, so maybe arguably a little bit of a rough spot for Tampa, but on the verge of elimination, I don't know if you want to go against them, man. That's what I should have felt about the Detroit Pistons series last night. But I thought it was a good spot. I mean, the money looked like it was the right spot to take the Knicks, and it does look like the right market read there. The market read looked like it was on the Knicks yesterday, and it looks like it's on Florida here. So I wouldn't totally disagree with that. I mean, I would lean that way if you put a gun to my head, but I will stay off of the game. And then especially Tampa's the team facing elimination at home, man. I mean, that is a little bit of a difference, even though, again, not a huge home ice advantage, but not something I really want to do. St. Louis at Winnipeg. The home team has won every game in the series, so I do expect Winnipeg to get this game. I mean, even though I think Winnipeg is overrated, just like Washington is, Winnipeg carrying the President's Trophy curse as they had the best record in hockey, and I don't think they're actually the best team. They do have a really, really good home record, though. But Hellebuck, best goalie in the league, actually struggled in the road games. He has been better in the home games. So in Winnipeg, just as a whole, they have a really, really ridiculously good home record of 37-4. Blues actually pretty good on the road, though. They're actually better than 50% on the road. And the Blues have been pretty competitive in every game in the series. So hesitation a little bit there because the Blues have played them so well. But Winnipeg's coming off losing by a combined score of 12-3 in the 2 games at St. Louis. And they're the better team back at home in a Game 5 in a tied series. I would only be able to look to Winnipeg, man. I almost played it. It's just they're very public, and you're paying a little bit of a hefty price. Up from -170, -171, 87% of tickets, 93% of the cash. I think it is a situation where the public and professionals are all going to kind of line up on Winnipeg. That means the books are going to need Winnipeg to lose the game. But I do think they should bounce back from a couple of massively embarrassing losses. It is the type of play where I would look to maybe play Winnipeg here. It's just I don't love the price. You could get the price down a little bit if you want to go to that 3-way line. Like I said, have a 3-way with the books and play Winnipeg to just win in regulation. You can probably get it down to basically about a minus 110 price probably, so a much nicer price. But then, of course, you're going to lose the bet if it goes into overtime. But I might look that way because I do expect them to come out really angry after how those last couple of games went. I also like the under. As I said, in these Game 5s, a lot of times the under makes sense. You get defensive games here in Game 5 with a close 2-2 series, which was the case with Minnesota-Vegas. Actually, both these games, both Game 5s in the 2-2 series yesterday did both go under. So that is the way that I would look here as well. And the public probably doesn't want that. As you can see, 79% of tickets on the over, only 56% of cash on the over because both the last two games are really high scoring. So the public's not going to want anything to do with that. But I would only go under. But the odds makers know that this is a phenomenon because you get really intense defense in a 2-2 series. So that is basically how you handicap those. But this total is crazy. It's down to under 5.5 with massive, massive juice on it. Like, I don't know why. Like, the books have probably moved this to a 5, which I would go under 5 if you forced my hand on it and asked me what play I would make here. Although I think the Winnipeg side is actually probably the better way to look in that game. Scott, what's up? Patrick, what's up, guys? Thanks for hanging out. Beautiful morning. I don't know if it is. I haven't opened my curtains, so I don't know if it is up here. I don't know what's going on. Anna, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Let's go over to Major League Baseball. See if I can get this done quickly. See if I could do my autism here. Just rip through these rapid fire. We got St. Louis, Cincinnati. They got rained out yesterday, so it's the same pitching matchup as it was going to be yesterday. So I did talk about it yesterday. Miles Mikolas for St. Louis. Definitely the worst of the two pitchers, and his numbers against Cincinnati are pretty bad. Brady Singer has been the better of the two pitchers, and his numbers against St. Louis, I believe, are very limited. So St. Louis's hitters aren't that familiar with him, if I'm not mistaken. So I think Cincinnati should be the right side in that game. They're laying a little bit of a price there, but basically the same thing I said yesterday. That would be the way that I would lean in that game. Where is that game? I don't even know. National League. Come on, Toad. What are you doing? I don't even see it up here. But they're going to have a doubleheader as well. So they do have a night game. Oh, because of doubleheader. Yeah, it's down here. We don't even see like the market indicators on this thing yet. Come on, pregame. Get your shit together. Maybe if I refresh it, it'll update. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. You're looking at Cincinnati being about a minus 145 favorite in that one. And that is the way that I would lean there. Patrick. Oh, yeah. So you're, what are you, on the Pacific Coast? So it's late night for you and early morning for me at the same time. Kind of crazy. Great way to start your day, man. It's the best part of waking up is Toad in your cup. I don't know. In your jock strap, really. The second game in this doubleheader, we don't even know who the starting pitcher is going to be for Cincinnati. And with these doubleheaders, the teams are actually allowed, I think, like one extra roster spot so they can call somebody up just to pitch that one game and then send them back down. So a lot of times you're going to see something weird going on here, or they might bring somebody out of the bullpen to just pitch like a few innings to start the game. So we have no idea what's going to happen in this game. And Steven Matz is pitching for St. Louis. He's not a very good pitcher. He might just be an opener as well. And his numbers against Cincinnati, when I looked, were not very good either. But he might only even be in there for a few innings. So this game is very, very difficult to handicap. It's a total question mark in game 2 of that doubleheader. Detroit against Houston, we got a matchup of two young pitchers here in Jackson Jobe, who's been pitching pretty decently for Detroit. Houston does actually have a little bit of history against him with a couple of bats here, but they're 2 for 2 off him. And it looks like Altuve has an RBI off him, so I don't know if that was the sac fly or what that was. So very, very limited sample size, so really nothing you can really take away from that. But Job has actually never even gotten a Houston Astro to record an out, basically. So, except maybe if that was a sac fly, because I think that doesn't count as an out like on your stat sheet. I don't even remember how it works. I used to remember. I was totally autistic about baseball score sheets, but I forget. So anyway, Jackson Jobe, I mean, I do think he's a decent pitcher, and he might have a decent matchup here for him with most of Houston's hitters not having seen him before. But I do worry about his walk numbers a little bit, as he has walked too many guys this year, man. 10 walks to 14 strikeouts. That's a little bit alarming. That's way too many walks, actually, like one per every half inning. He's kept the opposing lineups off the scoreboard, but he's faced pretty weak lineups in Seattle, in Seattle's pitcher-friendly park as well. White Sox, Minnesota, Kansas City. So Houston, even though their offense isn't that good, probably a step up in class for them. Meanwhile, in Houston, we have A.J. Blue Ball, making his major league debut. So I dive into the scouting reports on these guys. He's pitching pretty decently in the minors, so he is a prospect that Houston does think fairly highly of. So he's not just some random guy they're having to stick in like a spot start. They are eventually thinking he's probably going to be part of the rotation. And he's a guy, decent numbers in the minors. His ERA is like in the 3s in the minors, which is pretty good. Just his walk rate is a little bit too high. He has a good strikeout rate, but his walk rate's too high. So he's a little bit wild, even though he could fool hitters. And he's a guy that was thought of as he was going to be a relief pitcher for a while because he throws like mid-90s fastball, basically, or low to mid-90s fastball, and throws a changeup. And he was a guy that just had that 2-pitch arsenal for a while, but you really need more than that if you're going to be a starter. So in this Houston organization, they've actually helped him develop multiple breaking pitches, so he does throw a curveball and a slider as well. But his top 2 pitches are still the fastball and changeup, and I believe his changeup does have some like downward movement to it, so he is somewhat difficult to get a grasp of. And I think if he's on and he's not too nervous and he's got his stuff, I do like looking for prospects that have like good scouting reports on them against opposing lineups that have never seen them before. I think the edge does go to the pitcher there. I'm a little bit hesitant on this one, but I would lean to the under in this game for those reasons. Houston also did, I believe, use a lot of their bullpen yesterday, so that's a little bit worrisome, although they have one of the better bullpens in baseball, so I don't know if I would worry about it as much. But they used a decent amount of their pen because Gusto doesn't go that deep into games. I don't want to really look at it because I lost on the under in that game. And by the way, there were a lot of runs scored in that game given the amount of hits. There were 18 hits total in the game, which is a little bit high, but usually that's not a situation where you're going to see 10 runs scored, I don't think. But some efficient run scoring there. Atlanta and Colorado, I mean, it sounds crazy, but this might be a situation where it might be one of the rare situations where I would lean to an under in Coors Field. I'm certainly not going to do it. I mean, the last time I said that, the game still went way over. I'm not going to do it, but it is Chris Sale against Chase Dollander, and we know Chris Sale won the Cy Young last year. He's still got something left in the tank. His numbers don't look good this year, but he is going to improve. I mean, he's got a 36-9 strikeout walk ratio. He's allowed too many hits so far, but you do see that he's trending in the right direction. I mean, he's allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in each of his last 3 starts, although a little bit worrisome that he has only gone 5 innings in one of them and fewer than 5 in the previous 2. That's a little bit worrying, I guess. He's being very inefficient with his pitches, though. He is throwing a lot of pitches still. So in one respect, that means he might wear down a little bit, but it also does mean that he is, they're just letting him go, man. So as long as he's not inefficient, he should get you a decent amount of innings. I expect him to kind of return to form. I don't think he's going to be this bad over the course of the season. I don't think his career is over yet. And against Colorado, 17 at-bats. I mean, he's held them completely down with no extra base hits, no walks, 176 average, 353 OPS. So he's dominated them. Small sample size. Dollander, I mean, he's a prospect that the Rockies called up. He's been struggling, though. I mean, I like him. I tried to play on at least one of his games, but he's been getting hit around a little bit. He's been struggling a little bit. He's had a couple of home games at Coors Field, which is really not easy to do. So kind of a wait-and-see approach with this guy, man. Even though 21 strikeouts in 19 and a third innings is pretty good. 7 walks isn't that bad either. Just he's allowed a lot of hits and a lot of home runs so far. Again, very difficult to pitch in Coors Field, man, especially when you're not used to it. So definitely some hesitations there, but he is still a young pitcher with good stuff who the opposing lineup has not seen before. And Atlanta, of course, is also a huge favorite. And in Coors Field, you're going to get a giant total here of 10.5. So, again, we'll stay off of that. We do have a huge line in the Dodgers game as well. I mean, Cal Quantrill, pitching from Miami. The guy's not good, and he's not good against L.A., and he was on Colorado recently, so L.A. has seen a lot of him because he was in their division, so none of that is good. L.A., I believe, rakes against him, and again, they're very familiar with him as well, and his numbers are just atrocious on the season, even though I think he actually had a good start in his last start. Well, it was decent against Seattle, which was Seattle was actually in a bad spot there as well. And it was in Seattle in a pitcher-friendly park, and Seattle was in a spot returning home from a road trip where their offense might be a little bit kind of off kilter and distracted. So Quantrill basically had a perfect setup for him there, and he still only pitched okay and gave up 2 home runs still in that game. So this guy, he doesn't have it. And 118 at bats worth is what LA has seen him. That's how much LA has seen him, and they have more walks than strikeouts over that span, which is insane. 17-14, 322 average, and 930 OPS. So there's nothing to like about Quantrill here. LA, with their massive amounts of injuries, they have so many starting pitchers, man. And so many of them are hurt. It's crazy. You got Glasnow hurt again, Snell hurt again. It's insane, like, how many injuries LA has to deal with. But it kind of evens the playing field because their starting pitching, like, personnel is so good. It's, like, far and away the best in Major League Baseball. So the injuries are going to have them kind of crashing back down to earth a little bit. But they're getting one guy back here in Tony Gonsolin. He's going to be pitching here. I don't think he's pitched yet this season. He actually hasn't pitched since 2023, so I think we don't know what we're going to get out of him. And in 2023, his ERA looked pretty bad, but his whip wasn't that bad. So I don't think he was really as bad as his ERA would look, although his strikeout walk rate was a little bit, that ratio is a little bit alarming, I would say. Too many walks, not enough strikeouts. He's not really a huge strikeout guy, but he has been decent over his career. He's been able to limit opposing offenses for the most part, so it's probably good that they're getting him back. But, I mean, I'm talking about a game with a giant line here. So, obviously, huge advantages to the Dodgers in this game. But they are obviously really public, as they always are. I mean, I don't think you're getting any value playing LA at huge prices like this. You might want to find some other way to try to play LA in this game if you do like them. Like, play their team total over or something to that effect. Because I do expect Quantrill is going to get rocked in that game. Anaheim and Seattle, in Seattle's pitcher-friendly park there. But Emerson Hancock has not had a good go of it so far. He's been awful so far. I kind of expect him to start turning it around, and he actually kind of has, as he had a really, really bad start in this pitcher-friendly park, though, as his first start this season. But a lot of times you can kind of just ignore that. And after that, he was good in 2 road starts, including at Cincinnati, which is not a pitcher-friendly environment at all. And then at Fenway, that's not really a pitcher-friendly environment either. So he is improving, and now he's coming back home. So I don't know what we're going to get out of Hancock here. Anaheim has barely seen him. Only Newman. Hello, Newman. Only Newman has ever seen him before and is 1 for 2 off him with a home run. But it's such a small sample size. I don't know what you can really take away from that. Tyler Anderson is on the other side for Anaheim. His number's very good so far this year, but I hesitate a little bit, man. I think we're going to see regression out of him because his strikeout walk ratio isn't very good at 22-12. Doesn't strike a lot of guys out. He is walking too many guys, but he's limited the hits. He did have 2 one-hit performances mixed in there, so hasn't been very hittable so far this year, but he's not as good as his numbers look, man. And at the age of 35, I don't really think that he's all of a sudden like an ace pitcher. I mean, I think he's okay, and he may do okay in a pitcher-friendly park like Seattle, and his numbers against Seattle are okay. In 62 at-bats, he's held him to a 258 average, 755 OPS. I mean, he is the more experienced pitcher. Maybe he is the more trustworthy pitcher, which is why the money is actually coming in on Anaheim here. With Seattle up from -145 to -146, but 67% of tickets on them, 83% of the cash coming back on Anaheim. So that is where the money is. It's pretty strong market indicators on Anaheim in that one. And Anaheim did lose the first game of the series as well. But I believe Seattle used a lot of their bullpen, though. So Anaheim might have a little bit of an edge there as well with Seattle's bullpen being a little bit used up there. Next up is one of my totals, and I am going full game on this one. San Francisco, San Diego going under the total. And again, with totals, 7 is a key number, man, in baseball. 7, 9, 11 are key numbers because somebody's got to win the game. So if you have a tied game, 1 run has to break the tie. I'm going with the under here, and I'm going back to Landon Roop, even though he hurt me last time I tried to go on an under with him. I still think he's a pretty decent pitcher. San Diego, I mean, one thing to worry about a little bit is they did use a lot of their bullpen in last night's game, so they used some of their best relievers. I believe their closer only made like 9 pitches, though, so it's possible he's available again tonight. But the thing that makes me worry a little bit less about that is if you look at the bullpen ERAs, these two teams have the best bullpen ERAs in baseball. San Diego at 1.66, which I know is unsustainably low, but still very good bullpen. And San Francisco 2.41. And by the way, Houston and Detroit are the next two best. So if you do like the under in that Job versus blue ball matchup there, the bullpens are still pretty good, even though Houston used a lot of theirs. I think this under makes more sense because you are getting more proven pitchers. You're getting a pitcher-friendly ballpark in San Diego. I mean, you might be able to still find a 7.5 out there, but you might have to pay a little bit of extra juice to go under the 7.5. Landon Roop, I mean, he did not pitch well under Raup. I still don't know how it's pronounced. His numbers aren't good, I know. 4.56 ERA, 1.52 whip is abysmal. I get it. You can't put more than 1.5 men on base an inning, man, and get away with it. But overall, I mean, his numbers are so spread out that it doesn't look that bad. Like, 11 walks, yeah, that's high, but he's striking out a ton of guys. So his strikeout walk rate is actually fairly good. 31 strikeouts in 25 2/3 is good. Number of hits is a little bit too high, but I think he's going to bounce back, man, because he's kind of alternated good and bad starts, and he's coming off his worst start of the season, which was unfortunately the game that I had that under in against Milwaukee, and he only went 3 2/3. Didn't do well. I mean, his defense didn't do well behind him either, as he gave up 2 unearned runs in that start. I think he's going to bounce back from that and put in a better performance this time. He is a guy, again, as I talk about with him, he has crazy like motion on some of his breaking pitches that really can get hitters to be fooled. And he does induce a lot of ground balls too. Got a pretty good ground ball to fly ball rate. Like anything where it's almost like 50-50 is quite good. Like you don't want to see somebody that lopsided towards the fly ball, but he can ground you out. He can strike you out. He's good. And against San Diego, they have 12 at-bats, and they're 0 for 12 off him. They do have 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, but it's a 0 average and 143 OPS. I know it's in a limited sample size, so the fact that they've seen him may help San Francisco a little bit, but I don't believe, or San Diego, excuse me, but I don't think they've seen him this year. So I still think Raup does have the edge there, Krupp. I think he still has the edge there. And then, of course, Michael King, on the other hand, I mean, he's proven to be a very good pitcher, man. He's got a really high strikeout rate, 40 strikeouts and only 11 walks in 33 innings, only 24 hits allowed. He's pretty much dominating this season. He hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in any start. So I think he's good to go. And even though San Francisco has seen a decent amount of him, we got a decent sample size to work with, 62 at-bats, 17 strikeouts, 9 walks is a little bit high, but he's held him to a 210 average of 552 OPS. So you got a pitcher that basically is one of San Diego's aces with good matchup stats. I like the under in that game. You got 2 good bullpens as well. Pitcher-friendly environment, we're going under in that game. Yeah, I'm going full gay on that one. That's right. Let me see. Next up, Minnesota, Cleveland. Pablo Lopez is the better pitcher of these two. Pablo Lopez against Luis Ortiz. However, his numbers against Cleveland are actually bad. 63 at-bats, almost a 1-to-1 strikeout walk ratio is not good. 8-7, 349 average, allowed an 890 OPS. That is not good. And surprisingly, Luis Ortiz on the other side, who is moving over to the AL this year as he was on Pittsburgh, his numbers suck this year. Yes, we know Pablo Lopez is the way better overall pitcher, but this matchup, I think, kind of negates it a little bit. It's Ortiz against Minnesota and 17 at-bats. They really have not seen a whole lot of them. He's held him to 235 average of 471 OPS, and they have not seen him yet this year. So I actually think that the pitching matchup, just the specific matchup, actually kind of balances things out a little bit. However, Cleveland does look like a home public underdog, which is really not something I want to get involved in. 80% of tickets, only 74% of the casual. The line has dropped on Minnesota, down from minus 131 to minus 123. But in a pitching matchup like that on the surface looks like one thing, but the matchup stats kind of tell you another thing, there might actually be some value on the home underdog there, but I really don't like massively public home underdogs like that at all. Cubs in Pittsburgh, you got Matthew Boyd against Carmen Mlodzinski. Boyd is definitely the better of the two pitchers, but I think we're going to see regression out of him, man, because a 1.38 whip indicates his ERA. 2.54 should be way higher than it is. He's putting too many men on base. Number of walks is way too high. 10 walks in 28 1/3. That's not good. And against Pittsburgh, he's been okay in 33 at-bats, 242 average, 669 OPS. So he has done decent against Pittsburgh. Mlodzinski, I mean, his numbers are awful, obviously. 6.95 ERA, 1.82 whip. Not a whole lot to see here. I mean, he's also walking way too many guys. 9 walks compared to 18 strikeouts and well over 1 hit an inning. That's certainly not going to get it done either. However, in 13 at-bats against the Cubs, he's held to a 154 average, although he has walked 6 and only struck out 4. So that is a bit of a red flag. Way too many walks again. So even though it's a 154 average, 806 OPS, because Amaya does also have a home run off him. He is the worst of the two pitchers, but do I want to get involved in that game? No, I really don't. Cubs are very public, up from -163 and -168, 81% of tickets, but 63% of the cash buying back on Pittsburgh. So some market indicators on Pittsburgh there, but I don't like the starting pitching matchup at all. Washington, Philadelphia, Jake Irvin and Christopher Sanchez. Two pitchers pitching really well this season, man, and they're kind of taking a step up in their career trajectory, it looks like. 31-8 strikeout walk ratio for Irvin with way less than 1 hit per inning. He's pitching really, really well. 3.19 ERA, 1.01 whip. Very good. Philadelphia has seen a lot of them, though. 115 at-bats, and they've hit him decently. 270 average, 778 OPS. So, but he is improving, although Philadelphia doesn't know how to hit him. Christopher Sanchez, probably the more trustworthy of the two pitchers, even though 1.29 whip, getting a little bit high there, Mr. Sanchez. 3.42 ERA is good. He's coming off a bad outing, really went 2 innings. I don't know if maybe he actually just got yanked from that start because of like soreness or something, or maybe it was a rain delay. I don't know what that was, because he obviously would have stayed in the game. 58 pitches, only 2 runs allowed. They would not have taken him out if it wasn't something like that. But pitching well this season, 33-8 strikeout walk ratio, well over 1 strikeout per inning, but putting too many men on base for my liking. Has done well against Washington, though. 73 at-bats, 205 average, 521 OPS. So, I mean, I wouldn't really disagree with an under in that game, but Washington's bullpen is a nightmare. Their bullpen ERA is 2 runs, more than 2 runs higher than any other bullpen. And Philadelphia's is actually the second worst. So if you do like the under there, I would make it first 5 innings. I would not go full game and try to deal with a 7.47 bullpen ERA for Washington, 5.25 for Philadelphia. All right, let's see if we can get this done fast. Next game up, I do have an under, even though, of course, the first play I left off my card last night was the under in Kansas City, Tampa Bay, and that was an easy win on the under. So I'm pissed, but I'm going to go under here because fuck you and fuck that. I'm going to go under 8.5. You can find a decent price on it. Noah Cameron making his Major League debut for Kansas City, so Tampa's never seen him before. That's an advantage to Noah Cameron. His stuff, he's got like a 5-pitch arsenal. I believe he's got mid-90s fastball, basically cutter. I believe he's got curveball, slider, changeup, I believe is basically what he throws. He's got a decent arsenal. He's actually more highly touted than Blue Baugh is. So he actually might be the better of the two starters. He has a lower walk rate than Blue Baugh does in the minors. His strikeout rate is still pretty high. Good ERA in the minors in the 3s. So I like that. You got a nice prospect coming up here, and a Tampa offense that's pretty weak and has never seen him before. And Drew Rasmussen on the other side, kind of surprised, but he's been very good this season. 27-6 strikeout walk ratio, more than 1 strikeout per inning, well less than 1 hit per inning, 2.1 ERA, 0.9 whip, all good. And against Kansas City, he's done well. 33 at-bats. He's on to 4 hits, 121 average, and 376 OPS. So he has dominated Kansas City. So under is the play in that one. Then we do have games where you can't really handicap them because Boston, my Red Sox, have Lucas Giolito, who was one of their offseason pickups, and he has not been ready. He's coming off the DL, I think. So he's ready to make his Red Sox debut. And Toronto, we don't know who they're going to pitch yet, so very hard to handicap that. Giolito, I don't even know what his numbers are like against Toronto. I don't even know if I looked because we don't know who Toronto started. He's done well against Toronto in 93 at-bats. 226 average allowed is pretty good, although 5 home runs is a little alarming, but Kirk has dominated him. So if you want to look to player props, Kirk hits plus runs plus RBIs over might be worth a look there because he really rocks Giolito. 742 OPS allowed is getting on the high side a little bit. And then Burns, Arizona against the Mets. Mets have not announced a starter yet. Burns has been struggling, even though he's basically an ace, but this season he really hasn't been, and it might not get better for him as the Mets in 83 at-bats have a 349 average off him and 1,011 OPS, but Alonso has crushed him. 3 home runs off him, 6 for 15. Lindor, 6 for 18. So a few of these guys have really crushed him on the Mets. So I would not want to try to take a shot on Burns, even though I think he's going to get better, although his whip is actually really bad right now. And then my final play is under, but I'm going under first 5 innings in this one, under 4. You got to pay a little bit for it. Minus 118. Milwaukee and White Sox, I mean, neither team can hit very well. Excuse me, White Sox can't hit very well. Excuse me, Milwaukee can hit very well. But Tobias Myers pitching, I mean, he didn't have a great start to kick off the season with 4 walks. But I'm going to kind of throw that out the window because a lot of guys don't do well in their first start of the season. If you look last year, he did really well, even though it was his rookie season. Really low whip and ERA, 1.17, 3 ERA. Nice numbers here, 3.5 strikeout walk ratio, all good stuff. And against the White Sox, only 3 guys have ever seen him before. They're 2 for 7 off him. No walks, no extra base hits, 286 average, 571 OPS. So a young, talented pitcher who basically is unknown to the starting lineup. I like Myers, and then I like Shane Smith, on the other hand, for Chicago. Danvers, Mass, local here. He's pitching well in his first season, 2.3 ERA, 0.95 whip, 22-9 strikeout walk ratio, well below 1 hit per inning. He's getting it done, man, and the Brewers have never seen him before. So we're going to go with all that, but we're going to take the bullpens out of the equation here because the bullpens stink. Milwaukee, 4.74 bullpen ERA. White Sox, kind of middle of the pack, 4.4. But I don't want to deal with rocky bullpens here. Not the Rockies, but rocky bullpens. We'll take it out of the equation and go under in the first 4 innings. And then Severino and Eovaldi. I mean, Eovaldi is the better of the 2 pitchers there in that Texas matchup. They're with, I think, the slightly better matchup numbers, but it's not something where there's a huge advantage one way or the other. That's going to do it. Tower Gang Toad on Twitter, patreon.com/Tower Gang, and go see us at Bro Grove and go watch Tower Gang tonight. Peace out, guys.